What is up, guys? Media Master Menard here today, bringing you guys another video. Today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy and my favorite games in the franchise. It is my favorite franchise of all time, and I have so many memories of playing this game when I was a kid. It's a huge part of my childhood. I didn't actually grow up when the games were being released, but I did play them all when I was growing up in middle school and in high school. This list was pretty much impossible for me to make since I love all these games so much, and it's so hard to limit it down to just 5 games, so please bear with me if you don't agree with some of my picks. For this list, I'm only going to be talking about the mainline entries into the series. I won't be including any spin-offs of the sort or anything like that. If we want to go into spin-offs, I can make a different video for that. But without further ado, let's get into my top 5 Final Fantasy games. Number 5, Final Fantasy XII. Final Fantasy XII is extremely different from other games in the series in not only setting but in gameplay. It's set in the world of Ivalice, which is the same world as Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's kind of in this desert kingdom with sky pirates and judges that are executioners of this world. And you get to see the battle system, which is called the Active Dimension Battle System. This battle system, your characters can walk around and move freely, and battles happen in real time as your ATB gauge fills up. You can pause the game to issue commands to your separate characters and make sure they fight exactly how you want to, but before the battle you can actually set up the Gambit system, which is a system of if-then statements essentially telling your party members how to behave in battle. So really with this system you can control your party members almost better than you could if you micromanaged every one of their attacks along the way. In the original game, your characters kind of had preset roles that you learned their abilities on the license board, and they really were kind of delegated to a certain role. But with the most recent Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, we actually got the Zodiac job system where each character can pick up to 2 different classes and you can customize your party how you want. So that's another great addition to this game. There isn't really necessarily a main character in this game, and the plot has a lot of similarities to the original Star Wars movie, but that is a good thing. Number 4, Final Fantasy V. Final Fantasy V is a classic old school RPG that actually wasn't released in America until 1999 on the PlayStation 1. It was initially made in Japan in 1992, so that is a pretty big gap before it came over to the States. Story-wise, the game is a fairly standard Final Fantasy tale. There's 4 crystals, and you're trying to protect them and maintain the balance in the world. The game uses a standard active time battle system where you can attack once your gauge fills up. There's 4 characters in the party, and it's kind of a safe party system, but where the game really takes a chance is its job system. There are over 26 classes in the game to master, and each one has a different role and actions and abilities that they can use on the battlefield. You can mix up to 2 classes' abilities at the same time, so that really upgrades the amount of combinations that there are in the game, and it makes it almost endless when you consider all 4 characters. And that's one of the real reasons I love this game so much. I've played this game over 3 times all the way through because I just wanted to mix and match and try a bunch of different party combinations out. Number 3, Final Fantasy VII. I mean, who doesn't know about Final Fantasy VII? It brought the franchise into the limelight and really popularized the JRPG in general. The game starts you off with a bang and throws you right into the action as you're trying to blow up this reactor, and you get to see the character Cloud as he goes on his journey and he finds out who he really is. The game is the first in the franchise to have truly a lot of lengthy cutscenes, which really ramped up the storytelling for the franchise. It's also one of the first games ever to use full 3D graphics, and even though they haven't aged well, they are really groundbreaking and revolutionary for the time that they came in, and they did a lot to enhance gaming as a whole. When this game came out in 1997, everybody was raving about the materia system. In this system, you would equip materia to your weapons or your armor, and therefore you would gain certain abilities and gain certain stat boosts because of that. You would gain AP points after battle, which in turn would level up the materia and give you even more abilities, and you could switch the materia within any of your party members so you could customize the role of each party member as much as you'd like. And you can't mention Final Fantasy VII without mentioning one of the best villains of all time, Sephiroth. Number 2, Final Fantasy X. Quick side note here, I'm gonna be honest, I was tempted to cheat and put this game and Final Fantasy XIII kind of together because they are very similar in nature with their linearity and their storytelling methods, but I decided against it because I do like Final Fantasy X a bit more, although both games do hold a special place in my heart. Final Fantasy X marked the first PlayStation 2 entry in the franchise, and it also marked one of the first games ever to be completely voice acted, and I know sometimes it wasn't the greatest, but it really is incredible what they were doing in pushing the technology forward. You get to meet a ton of colorful and interesting characters along this journey throughout Spira. The game truly does an amazing job of showing you the world and not just telling you about it. You get to learn through experience how this world acts and what's in it. And it's one of the darker Final Fantasy games, and it nearly brought me to tears on a couple of occasions. So this game actually reverted back to a pure turn-based RPG battle system, and you get to see the turn order of your characters in the game, and you can actually switch out any character into battle that you have with you on your journey. They don't have to be in your current party, so you can intermix which characters are in the fight at any time. You can use certain attacks that actually change the turn order, and so it's actually a very in-depth battle system, although it is a true turn-based. Every time I play this game, it gets even more sad and the story touches me even more, and that's why it earned my number 2 spot. Number 1, Final Fantasy IV. I don't even know where to start with this game. It will always have a special spot in my memories, as it was the game that introduced me to the franchise back when I played the DS version when I was in middle school. In this game, you follow the story of Cecil the Dark Knight and his story of redemption, and you run into a plethora of other main characters who have their own reason for joining his cause, and the game deals with themes of love, betrayal, and family, and really this was the first game in the series to have a proper story that was fleshed out and well developed. You get up to 5 characters at a time in this game, and each character has a preset role, and you have to adapt to these roles and which characters you have in your party at the time, and that makes the game very hard, especially on the DS version, as if you don't adapt, you will die. But that's what makes it so rewarding for me and why I've beaten the game over 4 times. Well, that about wraps it up for today's video, guys. I'm sorry if your favorite Final Fantasy didn't make the list, and I know a lot of people out there are going to be mad for me for not putting Final Fantasy VI on this list, but for some reason that game just doesn't do it for me as it does for other people. Leave a comment and tell me what are your favorite Final Fantasy games and what your top 5 would be. If you haven't played Final Fantasy, leave a comment and tell me which one interests you the most. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you guys more movies, TV, video games, and anime content. You should follow me on Twitter in the link in the description below so you can stay updated when new videos are coming out as well. Until then, this is Master Menard signing off.